Well, we've got a trout. We definitely have a rainbow trout.
Yeah, you want to work it over here?
This week on Kentucky Afield, the Red River Gorge is one of the great natural landscapes that the state has to offer. But did you know that it provides some great fishing opportunities as well? Next, we'll venture to South Jefferson County and check in on a few of the state's fastest animals. Then, we'll be waist deep in a creek, gigging gar. It's all next on Kentucky Afield.
Kentucky Afield. Every week, Kentucky Afield brings you features on hunting and fishing across the state.
What a nice fish.
It's an opportunity to hopefully get that bird in play.
Hey, we got another one over here.
There he is. Ooh, a nice one too. Boy, he's healthy.
What do we got?
That was awesome. Got the first help.
Barely made it out of the field.
Got one. Big smallmouth.
Very nice.
Double point, they're in there.
There they go.
Look at that joker.
Woo!
That's a good one there.
Look at that.
Beautiful.
Whoa, this is a good one.
That's better than good, Chad.
Hello, and welcome to Kentucky Afield. I'm your host, Chad Miles. Join us as we journey the Commonwealth in search of outdoor adventure. If you're from Kentucky, you've probably heard of the Red River Gorge and all of its beauty, but you might be surprised to hear of all the history and the great trout fishing opportunities that are also there. Today, we are in the Red River Gorge here in the Daniel Boone National Forest, and I'm with Bill Carmen, long-term friend.
Yep, been a while.
We have some of the same passions as well.
Yeah, we sure do, that's for sure.
You love to fish.
I do.
And you
What else is there?
Yeah, so there you go. You know, but one of the things that I do not do that you are deeply involved in, that's writing. You're actually an author. You've got several books out.
Yeah, I've got, currently got 4 books on the market, and I've got one more that's getting ready to hit, and by the time this airs, it'll probably be on the street. The name of the book is Fishing with Daniel Boone, Fly Fishing the Streams of an American Hero. Now, Daniel Boone was not a fisherman. He for sure wasn't a fly fisherman, but he may have caught some fish from time to time with nets or spears or something, but, you know, for food. But the book's point is that I was able to immerse myself literally in places where Daniel Boone had his adventures and did some exploration and had some tragedies.
So this book really appealed to, obviously, fly fishermen, because you're talking about fishing exploits on these bodies of water, these
That's
streams,
correct.
what you caught them on. You're giving all the details, right?
Right,
How you
right.
access the creek and streams, but then you're also putting a lot of history into those pieces as well, as far as what it may have been like when Daniel Boone was there and what they experienced, which would have been a much different time, right?
Yeah, a little different time. They probably didn't have cell phones like we do.
Well, I'll tell you what, this area behind us looks like it's a great opportunity to catch a trout. This is a cold stream, isn't it?
It is.
So this is an opportunity to catch a trout. I want to try to catch a fish and hear some more stories about Daniel Boone's time here in Kentucky.
Water's a little bit high today, which makes it a little more difficult to find fish. Sometimes when there's quite a bit of current and the water's high like this, sometimes they'll hang out in eddies right on the edge of the main current so they can see food.
Like right in here?
Yeah, give it a whirl right there. This area where we are right now, the Red River Gorge, is an area that Boone spent some time on starting in the summer of 1769. This is the Daniel Boone National Forest, and we're near the Sheltowee Trace, which is a hiking trail that is named after Daniel Boone's Shawnee name. The book takes the reader from the Yadkin River in North Carolina, where he spent his youth, all the way to the Femme Osage, the stream behind the house where he died in Missouri. There are 25 streams in the book, and I fished all those streams, and I wrote about the fly fishing, but I also wove the Boone lore through the fishing stories. I'm gonna walk over here and try this fly over here. I'm really kind of in shock that we haven't caught some fish here. Let's walk down here and wade across. See that big rock down there? Let's fish that little spot there by that rock.
Yeah, all right.
Good cast. There's a family in Lexington, and for years they had this elk antler, and it had D. Boone carved in it. And these people had this antler, been in their family for years, and they decided they were going to donate it to the museum at Boonesboro.
Okay.
And the museum said, well, you know, everybody's got something with D. Boone carved on it.
Yeah, because how many D. Boones were hunting Kentucky in the late 70s?
Yeah, so they approached RMEF to pay for the carbon dating. Of course, RMEF's involved in the elk restoration here and everything. They thought it'd be kind of cool. So they did, and it's, sure enough, late 1700s. It's the correct age. The antler was found in Hingston Creek in the mid 1800s. And sure enough, the trip that they took when he was captured by the Shawnee, he was with a group of salt makers, and he was their hunter. He was hunting for food for them to eat while they were boiling salt. That was the same year that was on the antler.
Wow.
So there's, you know, you've got, it's all circumstantial, but you've got the antler's the right age. You got Boone's signature.
And he was a hunter who would have been.
Yeah.
So where's it at now?
It's at Boonesboro.
That's amazing.
I know, isn't that cool?
It's very cool.
I keep getting hung on that stick here.
Always one stick guarding a beautiful hole. Fish on.
Sweet. That's why I like to bring people that know how to fish.
Well, we've got a trout. We definitely have a rainbow trout.
Yeah, you want to work it over here? Sweet, good job, buddy.
Pretty little rainbow trout. Now that was in that little seam.
Right there.
That we literally walked up. And that fish was
That's what did
sitting in
it.
there.
We woke him up.
We sure did, woke him up. Got him up and rolling. Very cool.
Come here, fish. I don't want to touch it. You're not really, it's bad to get your hands on the skin of those things.
I was pulling it up through right there, and all of a sudden it just popped it.
Sweet.
I was like, there you go.
There you go. Well, let's stand here and you fish it some more. Fish that whole area right there some more. There may be more right in there.
We went upstream and I was just dragging this little fly.
Well, that keyed us into what to do and where they were.
Got lucky. Hey, sometimes
I have to pay you to come with me on all my trips.
I was being a little lazy and just with these overhanging limbs when I was keeping my rod tip up, I ended up putting the.
There you go. Ooh,
perfect.
That's a nice one. That looks like a decent fish here.
Yeah, what do you know? On to something here.
Nice. Wasn't a whole lot bigger, but a little bit.
Now we're catching some fish. Hop out there, catch you one.
The one cardinal sin is for a guide to catch a fish bigger than his client catches. And the way to prevent that is to just don't fish. Well, I got one.
Oh, there you go. That looks like a pretty good fish too. Very cool. I'll hold your rod there. Perfect. You throwing the same little bait?
No, I'm throwing that mop fly.
Oh, that's a better fish.
Yep.
Come down here to
Look at that jump.
Look at that. Look at that. So much fun.
Oh, I missed him. There we go. You got the old bass set. That one's not quite as big, but it's still a fish.
He's not as big, but we'll take it. Hey, you're down here fishing the gorge, you're taking in the beauty. It's not about catching 10-pound fish, man. Just looking around. The beauty of the Red River Gorge, if you've ever been here, you'll never forget the trip to the Red River Gorge. I always enjoy coming out and fishing with you, and I enjoy the stories. I just enjoy your passion for fishing, the outdoors, and history.
Well, thank you very much. I appreciate it.
It's always a fun time. The Peregrine Falcon is the fastest bird in the skies, and it can be found right here in Kentucky if you know where to look.
Peregrine falcon is, I'm gonna go with the fastest animal in North America. It can dive at speeds of well over 200 miles an hour. They are bird eaters. They're like streamlined jet fighters.
Peregrine falcons eat birds, and so they are extremely fast flyers so that they can catch their prey on the wing. They like to live at these power generating facilities because there's a lot of pigeons and starlings here, and oftentimes they're welcomed here because the utility companies like to see pigeons and starlings knocked back a little bit. Their wingspan is 3 feet or so. Not a real large bird, but they can have a large personality that makes them seem bigger than they actually are.
If you go back far enough, peregrine falcons were essentially extinct in Kentucky. And the last known peregrine falcon nest was found in 1939, I believe. And then until the 1990s, they were functionally extinct in Kentucky.
The decline was really for a lot of reasons. Habitat loss is always an issue, but we were also still seeing the effects of the insecticide DDT that had been used and caused their eggshells to thin. And for birds that only reproduce one time a year, it's pretty catastrophic if your nest fails. In Kentucky, we didn't have a nesting pair much after the 1940s.
In the 80s, all the way up until the early 2000s, there was an effort to reintroduce the species to Kentucky called hacking. This is where you would take chicks and raise them in captivity and then release them as subadults into the wild, just hoping that they would nest somewhere throughout the state. The first actual nesting pair was in 1997 in Louisville. There was a bridge here that they laid eggs on. And then from there, they kind of just exploded back throughout the state.
And that recovery is mostly attributable to the companies that help support these nesting boxes that the birds are using.
LG&E was one of the earliest kind of partners with Kentucky Fish and Wildlife to reestablish them in Kentucky. This was a really early nest box. It was installed in 2004, I believe. They moved in shortly after it was installed, and then they laid their first eggs and had a successful clutch in 2006.
It's been so interesting to watch over the years. Each nesting season is incredibly different. The falcon that's currently nesting at Mill Creek, based on her markings and her colorings, our employees and the KDFW, avian biologists, have tracked her since 2006. An employee affectionately named her Diana, after the goddess of the hunt. Since then, she's been Diana all through these years. As a mom myself, it is so interesting to see some of the habits and the activities, whether it's protecting the eggs or going out and getting food, watching the chicks sort of compete for her attention. Those are just things that, for me personally, I relate to as a mother myself.
The backup to help this banding process go smoothly for the chicks. Both the male and the female, especially the female, is going to be really, really protective. So the team that we have here on the roof is essentially bait. We're to serve as a distraction to get the female out of the box. And what that will do is allow the team that has gone up into the stack to insert a really thin barrier between the opening of the box and the inside of the stack, and that way it excludes mom and dad for the short time that the biologists will be in there and banding the chicks.
Nicely done.
We'll open up the box, we'll pull the chicks out, we put them in a little cardboard box that has cubbies in it, and then that just keeps them from getting too close to each other or hurting themselves accidentally. Oh, you're the cute one, aren't you?
We had to come during a certain time window because we have just about 5 days when the chicks are an appropriate age for us to band them. All right, maybe one male, one female?
Yep.
Their bone structure is just about full grown at this age, but they're gonna grow a lot of muscles and feathers before they learn to fly about 2 weeks from now. She's on to us now.
Yep, I'd say so.
Right now, let's see, Right now, Mom is sitting on the landing pad and Dad is circling around. Thankfully, the biologists work really quickly as make sure they minimize the stress to the adults, but they'll probably take turns switching off on the perch and just keeping an eye on things until they can open it back up.
Gloves for getting them out?
I probably would if I were you. They bite pretty hard at this age.
We'll pull them out individually. One of us will hold them. The other person will attach leg bands to both legs.
We cover their faces just to keep them nice and calm through the process. This one looks big, like it's probably a female. Females are bigger than the males. They have bigger feet, bigger legs. They also have a lower pitched voice. Yeah, definitely a female. We put a band on each leg. One of them is the same type of band that you'll see on Canada geese, around your neighborhood. It's got a 9-digit number on it. That number is unique for all birds banded nationwide.
All across the United States, people are looking for these leg bands, and they report them to a national database, essentially. And then they let us know when our birds are resighted, so we know that they're living. We can keep track of how many young they're producing as well.
Band locks on their legs, so they can't take it off.
And this way, we can really keep a close eye on the population. We know what survivorship's going to look like for individuals. If we have all of our banded birds that just aren't being resighted, we know that they probably aren't making it.
The other one is a color band that differentiates the birds when we look at them in a spotting scope. It's got a number and a letter on it and different colors, so that allows us to just see the bird or take a picture of the bird and tell that it's different from another bird.
These birds will move around. I mean, they won't necessarily stay in Kentucky. In fact, we've had birds go throughout the Midwest. It's interesting to find out if a bird shows up somewhere else and they can read the band number. We find out, oh, that's one of ours. That came from Kentucky.
We also test them for a disease that's kind of prevalent in Kentucky called trichomonas. They get it from the pigeons that they eat, and it causes a really bad inflamed throat. We test them for it because if they have it, we can treat them for it in the nest, and like to do everything we can to enhance their survival. Usually isn't a problem to get their mouth open to do this swab. It's just like a strep throat swab. All right, this bird is done.
Since 1999, more than 170 falcons have been banded from the nest boxes managed by KDFWR at our generating stations.
So these birds are 25 days old. They hatched from an egg 25 days ago. They'll start flying about 2 weeks from now. So these brown feathers that are growing out from under the downy plumage are gonna be what they look like when they're ready to fly. Boy, that one's considerably less chill than the last one.
When I started with peregrine falcon restoration, there were no nesting pairs. There was also no digital cameras and no internet. So what we had to do was largely by watching through binoculars or spotting scopes and trying to learn what we can. Now the technology is much better, but the Mill Creek Falcon Cam has brought falcon biology is something that anybody can watch. I mean, they can watch when the first eggs are laid, try to figure out when the first eggs are hatched, get to see the growth of the chicks, get to see what mom and dad are bringing in to feed the chicks. It is so fun. Even if you're not a bird watcher, this is something that's super entertaining. And it's helped us get some really valuable information on when nest timing happens in Kentucky and what they're being fed.
Our employees are so dedicated to providing a safe space for the peregrine falcons at our generating stations where we have nest box installed. And they really just enjoy being a part of this experience at our generating stations.
All right, so he's gonna lose all his white downy feathers over the next couple weeks, and he'll be flying. He'll be brown instead of gray, and like his parents are, and then he'll gradually turn gray over his first year.
It's not uncommon to have eggs that don't hatch. We'll have several each year throughout the state. What we do is we collect them and then we freeze them. We'll either send them to the Field Museum in Chicago or the Cincinnati Natural History Museum, and they add those to their reference collections so that researchers can go look at those as references, whatever project they're working on.
We're very grateful to receive funding each year from LG&E and KU that goes directly to our peregrine falcon activities, helps buy us equipment, and helps pay for our technicians' time to do this work.
We launched the Falcon webcam with KDFWR in 2013, and what really started as a unique project has grown into an award-winning initiative.
Oh, they just opened the box.
Oh, they did?
Just opened. Yep. Oh, look at them.
All is well.
All is well.
With environmental stewardship and empowering education being such a key focus for us, we really saw over time this was such an incredible opportunity, because we've heard over the years, for instance, that teachers are tuning in to the webcam during the nesting season in their classrooms. You know, as part of our environmental stewardship to help protect the Peregrine Falcons by providing a safe area for them to nest, it also allows viewers to tune in near real time and watch the season unfold.
It's been an overwhelming success. You know, when I started, we had 0 peregrines nesting in Kentucky, and now, wow, there's more than we had historically. So it's been an overwhelming conservation success story.
There are many legal ways to catch rough fish and put them on the table, and one of those ways is by gigging them. You know, I've always been one of those people that don't like to get into cold water real slow. I like to just go all out.
Well, it's definitely cool. I'm glad we decided to wear waders.
Here's one.
Got him.
A gar.
Yeah, I think you got him. There you go. Just kind of hold him up, let gravity help you. Yeah, and
there we go. So this is a long-nosed gar right here, right?
Yep.
We're after rough fish, trying to can some fish.
Yeah.
Have you ever canned one of these?
I've not canned one, but may be a good candidate to try.
Are you willing to give it a try?
Absolutely.
Well, if that's the case, I'll put it on a stringer.
We'll string him up.
See what we got.
Absolutely. Here's your gar, Chad. See him turning towards you, coming right at you.
Here, you want to hold this lantern for me? See what we got here.
Yeah, you got him.
Good eye, Scott, because I didn't even see that fish. Well, it looks like we're going to be having gar croquettes today.
That's what it's looking like. That's what
you know, a lot of these fish that we were kind of hoping to see, the real sweeter, milder tasting fish, they're up here to spawn.
Yeah.
And even though it's cold out, and the water temperature is pretty cold, the water has already been warm enough they've kind of moved up. So we're just seeing the last couple lingering fish. So hopefully we hit a pocket and see some more. Otherwise, we're going to have to make do with gar tonight.
That's what it's looking like, yeah. Had him. That's that.
There you go. We'll have a mess before you know it. A mess of something.
Something. And there he's got a minnow in his mouth. Yep.
Got him?
Yep. He's now got a gig in him too.
Well,
shad. Had a shad in his mouth.
Boy, they're all about the same size, ain't they?
Yeah.
Watch yourself, Chad. This hole is full of them. There may be one just swim right up to you.
There we go.
Gar hole.
Won't be long.
We brought him to a gar hole.
There's one right there. Got one here and one right up in front of you. Yep, 2 of them.
Miss, coming back at you.
See him right here? There you go.
Got him.
Kind of one right there, right now. Headshot. You got that one. We got him. Here we go.
Got him. Here comes another one down. Got him good.
Yes, you did.
Heard that crunch. Unreal how hard they are, bony they are.
We have found the honey hole for the gar. If we can just find some suckers or some catfish like this, boy, we'd be on to something. Well, you guys want to just go up about another 100 yards and maybe go back and see if we can't pick those up?
We can do that. We got to go back that way anyway, so.
All right. Now let's check in and see who else has been out having fun in this week's Ones That Didn't Get Away. Check out this beautiful turkey that was taken by Michelle Satterley. This was her first longbeard. Congratulations. Joey Hovkamp knows how to spend spring break. That is bass fishing on Lake Barkley. This fish was caught and released. Nice job. I know this feeling with Daniel Figgins. He caught his very first muskie at Cave Run Lake while trolling bucktails. Nice job. Check out this giant largemouth that was caught by Preston Spalding. He caught this fish while fishing in Marion County at Sportsman's Lake. Zane Mattingly knows how to spend a good afternoon. That is in the Salt River fishing for white bass. Nice job. It's Derby week in Kentucky, and the horses are not the only thing running. The white bass are also running as well. Make sure you get out and take advantage. And remember, hunting and fishing on private property is a privilege. Always ask permission and thank the landowner. Until next week, I'm your host, Chad Miles, and I hope to see you in the woods or on the water.
Gear up for a day of excitement, giveaways, and raffles at the second annual Kentucky Elk and Outdoor Festival. It's the ultimate event for outdoors enthusiasts, and it's taking place at Kentucky Gun Company in Bardstown on May the 11th. Visit KY.GOV.com for tickets and info. We'll see you there.